Robbie Lawler got a TKO victory over Tiki Ghosn in the very first round. Mike, break down that fight and honestly just like how that was to see live.
Well, man, this was my absolute favorite fight on the card. Going back to it all, I mean, Robbie Lawler reminded me so much of my brother at that time, except for much more mixed in the sense of all around fighting skills. And so he was so much just a brawler, just like Mike Tyson, but in mixed martial arts. He just was so hungry. He was a crazy, crazy young, thin. He wasn't thin in the sense of like skinny, but he's just so ripped, man. This fight, when it started, they were both kind of gun shy, feeling each other out. And, in the sense of you can understand that because one hit from one of them, you're going to just end up on the floor or wobbly. And then, but Robbie ended up coming through or colliding and hitting him first and just pretty much ending Ghosn's lights or ending his night really quickly. It was literally just a crazy knockout. You could see Robbie's emotions after he hit him not once but twice, or once after I believe the ref grabbed him and stopped him. Or right before the ref grabbed him and stopped him, he hit him one more time, and then he just jumped up, and his emotions were just crazy. It reminded me a lot of the original UFC emotions when people it was just so raw and ruthless, and you really didn't know what was going to happen. So I just this is when I fell in love with Robbie Lawler, and I knew he was going to just be an absolute animal, especially by the stuff that he says on the microphone. I just knew he was just an idiot, but awesome.
He was 20 years old, Robbie Lawler was 20 years old. And I guess for a little connection, it's like this was back when Miletich was king. And his guys were the guys. This was their young gun. You could see him in the background. You could see Miletich there. Hughes fights later on the night. You see, spacing on his name. It'll come to me in a little bit. Obviously, Tim Sylvia was there too, but I'm spacing on the 55er. We'll get back there. But as Mike referred to, I'm going to try if I can get the quote right. I was trying to get back and actually play the clip for you guys. Didn't quite work out that way. But when he got the win, obviously, Robbie Lawler is so excited. He gets on the mic, 20-year-old kid, and starts screaming about how he just had to wait. He knew that when he was going to come hard, and he came hard and just started screaming and all kinds of excited. And obviously he didn't quite get the double entendre right there, but that's okay. And it was so, how much power this kid had. I mean, I say kid, he's older than me, obviously, especially now. But the initial shot that put down Tiki Ghosn, I tried to replay it a couple times. It almost looks like he doesn't even make contact with his fist. It's almost like the back part of his palm hits the side of his head and the dude just goes down. And then I don't know if they mic'd the canvas or what, but you can hear the connected shot hitting Ghosn in the head and hitting him into the mat and then hitting the mat this time after that. It was a bang, man. It sounded like when you have seen professional wrestling, the guys just land on the mat and that loud bang sounded just like that. And the follow-up shot would have put him away for sure. And then Tiki Ghosn and his super awkward going on the mic afterward and saying that it was stopped due to the cut above his eye and not that he was brutally knocked out. So how'd you feel about that, Mike, with Tiki trying to play it off like it was a cut and not a concussiveness?
Yeah, that's when you really tell that people shouldn't get on the microphone after they get knocked out. He just, didn't have a clue really what happened. And some competitors, man, they just don't want to admit to losing. And it's really sad to see. You'll see it in wrestling, too, in high school and throughout as a youngster. People that just are so competitive that once they lose, they refuse to believe that it happened or make all kinds of excuses. But it is what it is, man. He got straight laid out. But like you said, it was a wild punch from Robbie Lawler. It wasn't necessarily like a straight right or beautiful left like he has now. It was just a maniac throwing bombs.
If you like this clip, remember to like, subscribe, and comment. We want to hear from you. Let's roll.